Hey guys, welcome back to our Styled Shoot 101 series. Last week we talked all about what a styled shoot is, what a styled shoot is not, why you want to do one, what the benefits are, and the first steps in planning it. So assembling your team, choosing the scale, making sure you have contracts and all that good stuff. So if you missed that video, go back and watch video 1 and then come join me here. This week we are talking about selecting a theme, selecting your colors, the best way to do that, how you can pick your vendors and contact them, and then a few tips for the actual day of the styled shoot. So every time I approach a styled shoot, I have a vision in my mind as to exactly what I'm looking for in terms of the elements of the shoot and what I'm looking for as the photographer, so pictures that I really want to get. And I find that the best way to share this with vendors when I'm contacting people and wanting them to be a part of my team is through a Pinterest board. So the first thing I do is I create a vision board on Pinterest and I name it something very inspirational, not generic, about what I'm trying to embody in the shoot, what kind of colors they can expect, and I really try to make sure it's very unique. Once you have an inspiration board that really embodies what you and potentially the planner, if you're working with a planner, have in mind for the shoot, you can begin to gather your team. The first thing that you'll probably want to secure is the venue, because that's going to determine your date, your time, the availability, how many people can park, and all of that. Your venue is your first task. If you have a home with a backyard or something really low key, that's something I've done in the past, to just skip the whole venue step altogether. But if you're hoping for something a little more grand scale and you want to include a venue as a part of your networking and just make it a bigger shoot altogether, these are the first people you'll be contacting. So I would do some research, find some images online, and go ahead and send emails and follow up with a phone call for everybody that you contact in terms of venue. Go ahead and let them know your theme, show them the Pinterest board, give them a few possible dates, and tell them who you are and what your work is like. You want to make sure that these emails are personalized. You can batch your emails, so have a little bit of a template involved for contacting all of your vendors, but they should of course begin with their real first name and reference something in the first few lines as to the fact that you were on their website or you were on their social media or you truly follow them and you know what they're about, because that will make your email to them stand out. In your request for them to join the styled shoot, be sure to tell them what's in it for them. Tell them where you plan on having the shoot published, or if you have it, or if you're going to have it published at all, and that they'll get photos. Are they going to be high resolution? Are they going to have watermarks? I encourage you to tell them you will be receiving high resolution images and that they will not be watermarked, because venues do not want to be limited in the use of the images. Once you have your venue, you basically have a big chunk of your planning done, because you have your date, your theme, your location. Now you have to find all the little pieces and fit them together. So just like we talked about with the venue, you're going to start to contact vendors in each category that you need filled. So if you need models or a dress or any of those types of things, reach out to those people in the same way that you did for your venue. Make sure that the emails are personalized. Explain what the shoot is about, where you'd like to be published, why you think they would be a great fit for the shoot. So this is going to take time. It cannot just be a copy-paste situation, because your stuff is going to get just lost and noise in their inbox. They're not going to address it. You might not even get a response. But if you take the time to really say, hey, I saw your bouquets on green wedding shoes and I can't get over the succulents, and this just really embodies what we want in this shoot, that email is going to stand out. They're going to say, you know what I do, you know what I'm about, you've seen my work, you're specifically referencing things that have to do with me. You're not just saying, hey, I love your flowers. Like, it needs to be specific. Otherwise, they have no way of knowing how many people you sent that email to. So make sure that you treat those vendors that you would really like to collaborate with like gold. Remember that the whole point of a styled shoot is to get some amazing work, but get that work for everyone. All these vendors want amazing pictures. Other vendors besides photographers are always wanting more pictures of their work. So it's really not a big request to ask someone to contribute something if they're going to get amazing photography out of it. So you want to make sure that you explain what they're going to get out of it and really treat them well, because this is networking. This is relationships. These can ultimately lead to paying gigs, thousands of dollars in income. So you really want to never underestimate how important these relationships are that you're building during the styled shoot. So you've assembled your team, you've contacted and reached out to people in a genuine and authentic way. Let's say you're done. You've planned it, we're coming up on the day. A couple of tips for the actual day are to create a timeline of events just so that you know what's happening when, and that you can focus on those portraits if there are people involved in the shoot during golden hour or during the best light. So I like to start with details. If there are details like stationery, rings, a cake, anything like that, that I'm shooting inanimate objects, I just start with that because it's easier for me to control the light on those details. If you'd like to see another tutorial, some more tips and tricks for shooting details, I will link that video here and in the description. Another tip that I have for you for the actual day of shooting is to make a list of the vendors that are involved and specific shots you'd like to get for each vendor, because you don't want to leave that shoot thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't get, a vertical and a horizontal of every, rented piece, or the cake. I just got one far away shot, or one with the bride and groom behind it. You want to make sure that you have a variety of shots of each individual contributed item with and without your models, with and without flowers, or with and without details, all sorts of options, so that everybody who contributed has a lot that they can Instagram or Facebook or blog about, and they just feel like they got a lot out of the shoot. Because you have to remember, florists and bakeries and all these places, they're really contributing monetary value to this shoot. So you have to deliver really, really valuable photos in order to make it worthwhile. I recommend that if you have stationery going on in the shoot, that you go ahead and practice styling that at home before the actual shoot, so that you have a vision in your mind, you've played around with it, you're gonna be shooting either vertically, horizontally, how exactly you're going to style it, because there's not a lot of time, even during a styled shoot sometimes, to get really good images. If you'd like some tips for styling lay flats and styling stationery, I will link that video here and link it down below. Once you've gotten all of the photos that you need to get for all the vendors, you've made sure that you've gotten a great variety of everything, you can go ahead and really just play around with your posing, with your lighting. This is a time that you don't have the paying client. You've taken care of those vendors, and it's time for you to just be creative. And maybe you're gonna experiment with off-camera flash. Maybe you are playing with different reflectors, either physical reflectors or natural reflectors out in nature. This is just a fantastic time as a photographer to really explore using different lenses, shooting in manual, maybe free lensing a little bit. So just look up some new tricks or approaches to photography that you've never tried before, that you probably would never want to do on someone's paid wedding day, and then play around, because that's one of the beauties of a styled shoot. You don't have a paying client. So as long as you've made all those vendors happy and you've followed through on that contract, you're totally fine to just play and experiment and really make yourself happy as a photographer. I have even more tips for you guys on how exactly to get published, blog these images, get the most out of the relationship so that you can maximize the impact of the marketing that a styled shoot can have on your business. But that's gonna be in next week's video. So be sure that you don't miss out. Subscribe below, hit the little bell icon, and you will be notified when video number 3 comes out. I'm super excited to share it with you, and I hope that you guys are too. Feel free to ask me any questions about styled shoots in the comments below, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.